What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comments, and Pop Culture. I got another one today, another pretty massive size collection. And I know that I'm like questioning, is this a red flag from the seller? I want to preface here before I even start. This seller, Mark, he was actually really, really nice. I communicated with him. You can see the little chat box down here. We're going to review that. So I don't want to, attack the seller or assume that the seller is being a big, a-hole scammer, but I am going to again present this posting and offering of this collection for sale and try to, educate everybody watching on what kind of, red flags, or not even red flags, but what kind of things to look for to make you educated enough to say, yeah, this is a good deal, or no, this is not a good deal, and I'm going to pass. So before we get into it, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. Check out all the links in the description below, including the link to my Whatnot store where I have hundreds of books listed. Most of the books are absolutely already priced under fair market value, and I accept offers all day long. If you shoot me an offer for 20% off, I'm sure I'll accept it. If you use that code to sign up for Whatnot, if you're not already on the app, you will get $15 off your first purchase from anybody on the app. But outside of that, let's just get into this, guys. Let's first look at the posting here. We're gonna read it. We're gonna look at the pictures. He did add a good amount of pictures here, I think. What, maybe 5 or 6? I don't know. Let's read this. He says, I'm selling off most of a collection I recently purchased. Now I'm gonna stop right there. Red flag. Now, again, when I say red flag, I don't mean red flag in the sense that this person is trying to be a scammer or that they're trying to, willfully deceive you. But this is just something to really be mindful of and notate. I'm selling off most of a collection I recently purchased. Okay, so what does this tell you? Let's answer that question right from the get. It tells you that this individual is a reseller. This individual buys collections. He's not out being a collector, buying stuff from comic book stores or, online or marketplaces or even in small lots. He's buying collections. Let's continue on. Tons of great books in there. Oh, let's actually pay attention to where it says here, I'm selling off most of a collection I recently purchased. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. Tons of great books in there. Several boxes of Superman and Superman themed books. Love Superman, but unfortunately, man, even going back to Silver Age, Superman does not garner a high value next to a lot of the other A-list books, especially Marvel, though, unless it's Keys. Mostly Marvel, DC, and some Image, Top Cow, and others. This collection has not been cherry-picked. I've seen runs of Marvel Tales, Battlestar Galactica, and many others. Okay, I'm going to stop right there again. Now, what did I say? Pay attention to what he's saying. I'm selling off most of a collection that he recently purchased, but then he goes to say that this collection has not been cherry picked. That's a conundrum right there. That's a double whammy right there. So is it part of a collection that has not been cherry picked, or is it a whole collection that has not been cherry picked, or is it part of a collection that's been cherry picked? Okay, we're gonna come back to that still. Let's continue reading. 25 full long boxes, most bagged and boarded, not cataloged. This is a great collection of good books. I've thumbed through but decided not to keep the long boxes. I'll be posting some short boxes shortly. Asking $3,000, comes out to $120 a box. Must take the entire collection. It's located in Indiana. So again, anybody in Indianapolis or in the area, go check this out, man. Like I said, I think Mark is at least a nice guy. He's a lawyer. Saw that. Go check it out if you're in the area. If I was in the area, I would definitely check it out. It's definitely worth a try. So with 25 long boxes, and look, he's asking $3,000, right? So you're looking at roughly, depending on how filled the long boxes are, you're looking at roughly $6,000 to $7,000 books, which roughly puts you at just under 50 cents a book, maybe around 45, 46 cents a book. Okay. That's not horrible. Now let's look at these pictures. Worlds Unknown, some D-list Bronze Age, 50-cent Supergirl here, not in the best condition. Some late bronze Superman. I mean, those are books that I would buy for 50 cents, $1 all day long. Wolverine, Marvel Tales. I love Marvel Tales. You know, again, it doesn't look like in the best condition, but it doesn't look like it's too beat up there. I'd gladly, I actually collect Marvel Tales as a run. I have almost a full run. I would definitely pay $2, $3 for that book again, but this is individually. Silver Age Defender, excuse me, Bronze Age Defenders, the Bronze to Copper Doctor Strange run. I would gladly pay $1 or $2 for those, so to get them at 50 cents a piece. Battlestar Galactica #1. I mean, in high grade, that's still going for $5, $6, $7 a book, maybe on a good day. But that's it. That's all we see here, right? So, but again, how much of the collection looks like this even? So I reached out to the guy. I said, you got a list, any keys? What's the percentage breakdown of age, meaning silver, bronze, or modern? This is what he said back. He said, there's no list. I would say mostly 1980s to 2000. So, okay, so what he's showing here in these few books, which aren't even books of any real value, is the minority of what he has in this collection. The bulk of it is either late bronze, copper, and then modern. 90s to current. I just saw runs of Fantastic Four and The Flash, large runs over 100 books. I'll send you some videos. It's good collection. Several boxes in alphabetical order. Okay, so remember, keep in mind, this is part of a collection that he just bought. Let's pull up these videos. All right, this is all image stuff. So this is, oh, here's some Daredevil. That's a good, dollar a book stuff. Oh, DC Comics Presents. It's a good dollar a book stuff. Getting these at under 50 cents is cool. I would love all that stuff right there. Strange sports, random stuff here. D-list stuff, Dead Man. Here now back to some Defenders. So here you go. Again, not early numbers of any of this. Later stuff, bronze to copper. Double Dinosaur's cool, but again, not much value. No #1 in there. And bunch of trash. This is all trash. Some more Doctor Strange. Volume 3 Doctor Strange, which is cool. Some more trash. All right. Okay. We're going to go to the next video. What do we got here? Okay, New Teen Titans, Micronauts. I mean, again, dollar bin stuff. Dollar bin stuff. Dollar bin stuff. Dollar bin stuff. Bloodshot #1. You can sell that for a few bucks, maybe. Trash, 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 trash. And again, guys, when I say trash, I don't mean trash in the sense of collecting the comic because you love comics and you want to read them. I'm talking about trash in the sense there's no value there. Okay, Infinity War what was that, 4? Yeah, 90s dollar bin stuff. There's a $5 book. That's the highest value book I've seen. The Spectacular 30th Anniversary. So much image. Silver Sable. Love Silver Sable. I collect that run, but it has no value. Couple of Spideys. 90s. 90s Thor. Dollar bin stuff. Warlock, my guy. X-Force. Couple of Uncannies. It's cool. Yep. Trash, trash, trash. Some Legends, cool. Legion, dollar bin stuff. Some cool Transformer Armada, dollar bin stuff. I love Transformers though. There's some cool Marvel Tales you could sell for $2, $3, depending on condition. I like those Marvel Tales for sure. Still a lot of trash though, right? A lot. And again, nothing of value. Let's go to. Did he send me one more video or one more? That dirty Supergirl, and this is just all Superman, and this is just, good luck selling this in 50-cent bins. It's a few 60 centers, but you get more to the 80s and 90s stuff again. And I love Superman, but it's not, I have most of these, if not all of these books, but it's just not of any real value. So, you see what's going on here. Not much value at all in any of this stuff. I mean, most of what I'm seeing, what he's trying to sell it as, is what it would be at in, 50-cent bins or dollar bins, right? All right, let's pull out of this and let's go to what I said next. So watch the videos, right? And I said, thanks for taking the time to send the vids. Very helpful. So no real keys at all. And he leaves a very nice detailed message, and I appreciate this. He says, I don't believe so. There are a lot of short and long runs. I'd say most books earn the $1 to $5 range. I think he's being very honest, with most of it being more closer to the $1 to $2 range. Some older ones are better. Saw a short run of Cole the Conqueror, which again doesn't even really have much value. Defenders, Daredevil, Fantastic Four, Supermans, etc. Some older books from the 1960s, not much, and it's all D-list stuff, but not in great shape. There's also a lot more modern books, Fathom, Darkness, zombie books. Again, a lot of Image and independent stuff that is just trash. So I tell him, man, I said, look, I really appreciate you taking the time today. Not too shabby. I think as a collector, I would probably take a few boxes off your hands for, the 46, 47 cents a piece. But as a whole, might just be a bit much for me. Thanks again for taking the time to provide the details. Understood. Thanks. I am looking to sell the entire lot. Let me know if you change your mind. So let me just say right off the back, again, I really appreciate Mark being humble. He's not like, oh, I did all this work and you're going to not. I've gotten that before. Or, just get so defensive or just be a dick or an ass. It's like, he's being a nice human being, and I appreciate that. And that's why I really encourage anybody that's in the Indianapolis area, go check this out, man. If you're a dealer, if you're a reseller, and maybe he's willing to, take it down a little bit if you feel like you can move this. But this is what I'm saying, guys. He said it's not cherry picked. Now, Mark seems to be like a good guy, but do I believe Mark that's not cherry picked? Well, this is what I think. Number one, I think that he said this entire collection, right, probably came from a collect. This was a PC. It was a personal collection. Mark's a dealer, a reseller, and this guy whose personal collection it was probably kept all of it very organized to where he probably kept all of his keys separate, or at least even the big A-list runs separate for the most part. So there could be that. And so what now, Mark, I think, is using his language to where he's like, well, I didn't technically picked it, but I took what has no value and I limped it up into one lot and saying here I'm selling some of this collection that I just bought. And he said, I'm going to post some short boxes and stuff soon. That's probably the more valuable stuff. So did he not cherry pick it? Maybe so. But is he kind of, riding a fine line there? I do believe so. Now, when you go into like the Defenders or any of those runs, do I think that there were lower numbers there and he may have pulled them out? I don't know. He says he didn't. So I can't assume. Now, what are you guys going to think I'm going to say about this? Again, as a collector, I would love to go and probably pick a couple of these boxes out for $120 a box. Maybe even ask him if he'd let me take them at $100 a box. 45, 46, 47 cents a book, whatever it may be. But no collector is going to drop $3,000 on almost $7,000 books, taking up all the space, because most collectors are going to take that $3,000 and they're going to spend it on what they enjoy collecting. And it's going to be in precision to what they like. And they are going to want to take $3,000 and most likely spend on keys. Or if they're a collector that likes to collect runs, they're going to specifically spend it on issues and run fillers that they need for their runs. Not to buy a bunch of stuff that really has no value in bulk. I would pay, maybe on a good day, $600, $700 for this collection. That is a dime a book, because I already see that there's multiple boxes of stuff that I will never sell. Image stuff doesn't sell. Sure, you know, I have had comic book shops in my area to where they're even 50-cent bins or even quarter bins, where I've seen the same image books and indie books that have been sitting in even the same 90s Superman books that have been sitting in there for a decade. And I'm not even making that up, guys. I have a lot of stuff that what I would do, you know, when I sell on whatnot, I include a free comic book for every order. I throw in a couple of those. If I bought this collection at a dime a piece, I know that there'd be hundreds of books that I would just be throwing in as free books. Or when I do my comic book garage sales, any kid that shows up, free comic book for him. That would be for them. There's also stuff that I know that I wouldn't be able to sell for more than 50 cents. That would take months and months and even years to move. Like a lot of that 90s stuff, a ton of that 90s stuff. There's a very small percentage of this stuff, I'm sure, very under half, very much more under half, maybe 30% that I could possibly sell for $2, $3, and an even smaller percent of what I could sell for $4, maybe $5. Like some of those earlier Defenders, and they're not even that early, or some of those earlier Marvel Tales, and they're not even that early. So it would be hard for me to pay more than a dime a book. And again, like I say in every video I do before I close this out, talking about this stuff. For anybody that thinks I'm lowballing, for anybody that thinks that I'm being an asshole or he's a dirty flipper reseller, for anybody that thinks that, educate yourself again on how small the profit margin is for selling comic books, especially if you have a brick and mortar, especially even if you're a vendor selling at cons, shows, renting tables, space. Now, the thing is, this guy Mark just paid probably a dime a book, or maybe even less for these. Why do you think he can come here and sell them at 45, 46 cents a piece? Because he paid pennies on the dollar for them himself. You see that? I want you all to take that away. Mark would have a much better chance of making his money back, because I know damn well he paid pennies. Mark would have a much better chance saying, hey guys, I got 25 long boxes. Individually, I'm going to sell them for $120 a piece. If you buy two, they're $110 a piece. Or two to three, $110 a piece. 4 to 5, $100 a piece. If you buy more than 5, $90 a piece. He would have a much better chance of getting his money back and even making a profit flipping them like that, because you could have some local collectors that would love to drive down there and buy 1, 2, maybe 3 boxes. Straight up. That's what I recommend Mark does. So if Mark's watching, that's my advice to him. And for all you guys watching, that's my advice for you guys. I would love, as always, to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Thank you always for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Be well, and until next time.